So I've done a bit of a test this week. Went from my Samsung to a MacBook. Went from my Galaxy Watch 4 Apple Watch. Went from my Galaxy Fold Z Flip 3 an iPhone 13. Samsung Galaxy Tab A to an older version of iPad. And then went from my Galaxy Buds Live to an older version of the AirPods. It's been a long week, maybe a week and a half. My thoughts are this. The port over to iPhone or to Apple products was not as easy as one would imagine it might be. It wasn't seamless, didn't really expect it to be. So I get over to the iPhone side and I see there's some advantages to being on Apple products. There's obviously advantages to being Android, specifically Samsung. Even my TV behind us is a Samsung. My one over there is a Samsung. So what do I think? So I think that iPhones can be good. There are definitely some advantages I enjoyed. There are definitely some disadvantages to it. I appreciate that when you're on Wi-Fi connected to the same network, if you have another Apple device, as long as that Apple device is registered to the same iCloud account, i.e. my old iPhone 6 or iPhone SE in a 6 case here, battery case. I appreciate that. You can, as long as you're connected to the same network, signed into the same iCloud account, you can iMessage. Like, even if that phone is dead, like the 13 is dead, I can iMessage from another account or from another device. Notice I said I can iMessage from another device. You can't text from another device. You can only iMessage if you're connected to the same iCloud account. So for all my friends that have Apple products, including my buddy that's currently in the Philippines right now, even if the phone died while it was charging, I could easily go to my 6 or my SE and message him over iMessage or to the MacBook. And I appreciated that because he's in the Philippines right now, and so if we're in the middle of a conversation, a delay in time could end the conversation because he might be sleeping there 12 hours ahead of us. So it was great for seamlessness. The AirPods obviously are older ones. Not really a fan of the style. What I appreciate also is that you plug a dead iPhone in. Once it gets enough charge, it reboots automatically, so you don't have to go forget about turning it back on to continue the conversation. The message will just come through. If I'm wearing the Apple Watch and the iPhone turns back on, the message will send to the Apple Watch. Really appreciated that. Really thought that was kind of cool. Now you can do something similar to that with Samsung's or with Google products. If you have Google Messages, you can sign into your computer as long as you're logged into the same Google account, and message from computer to phone or whatever. But your phone has to be on for that. Whereas with the iMessage, the main phone doesn't have to be on. It could die. I could be chatting with them on the 5S or SE, sorry, and never know that the actual phone is dead, because the messages will still come through. So I appreciated that. Now, I appreciate the integration that Apple has with other Apple products. But I think I'm too ingrained in the iOS system for that to be super beneficial to me all the time. I'm just used to, or not iOS, Android. I'm too integrated with Android to fully appreciate what Apple offers. I saw a lot of nice things, and I can understand why people like Apple products. As for me, I'm switching back to Android. I'm switching back to Samsung, going back to all my Samsung devices, because I just like the user interface better. Things I find simple on Samsung devices or Google, but particularly Samsung, I was having challenges with when it comes to Apple products. For instance, what you just heard was my Google Home Mini turning on. And I have an Alexa right next to it. Those are both my alarm clocks. I don't have an Apple speaker because I couldn't find a decent priced one, used one that I was willing to pay for. So that I did not test, the iHome or iHome Mini or whatever. I did not test that. But I think with these products, I got a good understanding of why people like iOS. It's different for me. I think the main barrier between these two devices, and I don't think either one will ever fully die off or go away. I think they both have their spots in the market, and I think that both user bases are happy with what they get. I could do the same thing with Samsung. All my Samsung devices very much integrate with each other, and I can switch from messages on my computer to on my phone to my tablet. I can even take phone calls on my tablet. Like if you call me and my phone is on the charger, my tablet will ring and I can answer it on my tablet. And I don't even have to be connected to the same internet for that. I could leave my phone at home and take my tablet to work with me and connect to the Wi-Fi at work. And as long as you're both connected to an internet device and registered to the same account, you can do that too. I could leave my iPhone here and go traveling across the world, and as long as I'm on internet there, I could take my tablet and not that I would ever do that, but answer the phone from across the world where my phone's actually located. I tested the Find My feature and Find My Device feature on both Apple and Android. I found that they're both fairly accurate. I think the Apple one kind of gets you a little bit closer where your device is actually located, but they both give you an address to where you could find it or whatever. I found the battery life is a little bit better on the iPhone, but I have more features on my Android, i.e. I don't need to carry a tablet with me. My phone is a tablet. It's a folding display, which I think is very very cutting edge. Samsung tends to be a little bit more risky with what they're willing to do, and the Android platform in general, and iOS seems to follow suit after the Android companies, Samsung, Nokia, not that anyone uses them anymore, or any other Android device. kind of already does something, then Apple will tend to follow suit. So I think that Android companies, specifically Samsung, tend to be a little bit more cutting edge, a little bit more risky, because that's what the fan base wants. We're not, iOS is very simplistic, and it's for people that just want something that just works, and it just works. But it doesn't satisfy the tech nerdy in me. I like to tinker. I like to have devices that I can experiment with and be a little bit more kind of be a little bit more customizable, and not typically what people don't usually do. I think for 90% of the people with smartphones, I think Apple would work. Android is really for people who like to kind of be cutting edge, kind of push the limitations of what current technology can offer. And I'm one of them people. I like the latest and greatest. I like the being different. It's funny when Apple says think different, they tend to kind of go a little bit more basic, whereas Android companies actually really do think different. They tend to be a little bit more experimental, which is what I noticed and which is what I enjoy. I don't think either operating system is bad. I just think naturally I tend to gravitate more towards what Android tends to push than what Apple tends to push. And that's just my idea on it. So I took maybe a week and a half or whatever and kind of ran them both side by side next to each other to kind of see, could iOS do what I needed and wanted? And the answer is sort of. It does everything I need it to do. Didn't quite get to where everything I wanted to do was happening, but it did everything I needed. I could get by with it if I had to, but I tend to like to be a little bit more pushy out there and experimental, and I think that's just kind of where the Android market is. People who don't want the same thing as everybody else, who want different features along with their devices, and I think Android companies do that better because that's who they're marketing to. So with that said, I will be switching back to all my Samsung products. I will leave the iOS. I will continue to use it for iMessage, mainly because I just think that the feature of only having to be connected to the same iCloud account and Wi-Fi or something like that is like an internet connection, and I can continue to iMessage back and forth with my friends who are Apple users. But my main devices are switching back as of today. I'm back on the Android side. It was fun, and I had fun seeing what all the hype was about. But I just think Android's kind of where I belong. It is what it is. Anyway, for all my iPhone users out there who noticed I was a blue bubble for a little bit, sorry, I'm going back to green. But I still love you anyway. And if you want, you can still iMessage me and I'll be blue for you. But I'm just going back to what's comfortable for me, what I know, what I like, what I've spent the last 15 years of my life ingrained in. But I don't see the need for the Apple fanboy and the Android fanboy or fangirl, we're all inclusive here, to continue fighting. I've seen some pretty knockdown, drag-out arguments in comment sections, and I just think it's stupid. Let people enjoy what they enjoy. But as far as me, I'm going back to Samsung later.